Got me a big Canadian whitetail here. I'm in Montana. It's third week in November, and we had some snow, mostly in the high country. We had to drive way up. Yesterday it rained down below, and it all turned across. We did kind of some scouting, see what we could find for tracks, but down low we tried it a little bit. Snow was pretty well washed out, so we driven up in the real high country, and there's plenty of snow. Probably 8-10 inches up at this level we're at. And picked up a track. Got Steve on a track this morning. He's headed out, and we saw another track, and I got on that one, and it ended up crossing the road again, and we missed it, so I lost some time. I never got started till 9:30 this morning, so. But I followed him down off. He shagged around some does, and he's crossing this big ravine now, and he stopped here to thrash up in the brush here, and he's headed for, I don't know, next ridge line over. But I think he's a pretty good one. He's got a pretty good track for out here, so see if we can get a look at him. Keep motoring. I think quite a ways behind him still. But I'll show you his rub here where he's thrashing and where he's headed. He's working his way up this ravine here, and he's been feeding a little bit and thrashing in the brush quite a bit. I don't know. I'm going to kind of take it easy here. He might be settled in down here on one of these little knobs or something, so I'll tiptoe along, see what happens. But this guy's pretty aggressive here. Well, it's the first day of hunting in Ontario this year in 2012. Just drove up, got in last night. I'm by myself for a few days, but decided to drive back in where I shot my nice buck last year, do a little reminiscing. It's been cold up here, and the snow was dry. Now it's warmed up a little bit, and it's kind of got tacky yesterday. I met up with the other boys last night, Chris and Rob and some of the guys, and Rob had shot a nice one yesterday. But anyways, I'm gonna go in and look around. I know last year there was a couple other big ones hanging around in here, so go see if I can get on a track, see what happens in here. Well, got back into the same spot here. It's quite a driveway back in this whole road, but it's starting to spit snow a little bit. I'm hoping we get an inch or two, because if we don't, it's going to get crusty here. It was just wet enough yesterday. The guy said it snowed a little bit and rained a little bit, but it didn't freeze up enough in the night to make it too bad. It's going to be fairly quiet going. No wind today, but I think we can do something. I passed a pretty good track back in the road, but I wanted to come down here and see what I could find. If I can't find one of them big ones there that was left from last year, I'll go back and get on that other track. It was made a little earlier in the night. It's kind of froze in a little bit, but we'll see. Got all day. Well, I made a big circle this morning over in that area where I shot my buck last year, and I couldn't find a big fresh track, so I come out of there. Took me to about 2.5 hours. I made a big swing, couldn't find what I wanted, so I wanted to head down to another area, and I decided to cut a side road there that makes a loop over there. But anyways, I had my sandwich along the way, and I just come across the big buck track in the road here, and it's about almost noon time, and it's a big track made in the night. I'm going to see if I can catch it. Don't know if I can, but I'm going to try. Looks like it should be a real good buck. He come out and fed a little bit along the road, and then he's come down the edge a little bit and turned back in the woods. Happens to be a piece I've never been in, so see what happens. His track got a pretty good stride, stagger and all that. Well, he just got in the woods, and he's been feeding all the way, but like I said, I'm so late on the track. I'm gonna hunt it. I figured I'd hunt it fast. I should be able to come to 2 or 3 beds, because they feed, and this time of year it's late, and they feed and lay down, get up, feed. And I just come to the first bed, probably not in the woods here, 200 yards. So I'm going to keep moving on it, see what happens. Got out of his bed, just started feeding again. He's feeding, there's a blown down spruce tree here full of that old man's beard moss. That's what he's feeding on here. Come to his second bed. It's still a little froze up in the bed. It's going to be kind of tricky because the temperature's just about 31, 32, so the track, everything's staying just like it's in a refrigerator. Nothing's changing much. So keep moving. Came to bed number 3. Well, I've been on him for just about an hour, and just come to the 4th bed, and he's just been steadily feeding, laying down. Checked a couple of doe spots, thrashed his horns a little bit, but he's in these pretty rough place to get one. I need a little more wind in here. It's real whippy, knobby. It's going to be hard to get close, but we'll see what happens. Just jumped him up in these knobs here. I heard him go, heard his footsteps go. I snorted at him with my Bigfoot's call, and he's over there snorting back. I gotta try to get him, see what I can do with him. Well, he was laying on a little knob here. Got up to him quicker than I thought I was gonna, so anyway, he was blowing back at me. He may calm down a little bit. I sat down here for a little while thinking he might come back around, but pretty hard to get him to do that in this thick stuff there. They don't want to get boxed in, so the wind's starting to pick up. It's in the afternoon. I waited here about 15 minutes, and I'm going to go real slow, and hopefully that'll make up my half-hour time. I just don't want to wait too long here. It costs me too much time. Stand by. We'll see what happens. Well, this guy only went 200-300 yards through the thick brush here, and he laid down again, so that tells me he's not ready to roam or feed, so he's going to be a hard one to get here. He snorted at me, I snorted back, and I'll just keep playing around with him. Maybe I can get him in a more open place here. It's pretty bad right here. But we'll keep trying. Well, this old boy beat me today. He circled round and round in these knobs and this thick stuff. Wouldn't go out of there. I heard him go a couple times running. Blew a couple times, but just too thick and too crackly to get near him today in this condition. So he's headed southeast, the truck's northwest, and it's time to go. Tomorrow's another day. Well, I'm checking out a new area. Chris gave me a hot tip on a spot they found last week there, and Rob had shot his buck back in here. But anyway, figured I'd drive in this morning, just try to get a feel for the area. And there's a series of cuts back in here, some clear cuts and rushy ravines. But it warmed up in the night. It's like 38 degrees and it's melting out quick. I've seen a few tracks on the way in, a few good ones, but I don't know if they're last night's or 2 nights old. So I finally came to one I'm sure is made in the night. It's a little crisper than the other ones, and there's no ice in the bottom from the night before. So I'm going to get on this one. It's a pretty good track. Get going on it and see what happens. Show you what the track looks like here. Well, today I'm on a buck that's on a mission. He's headed right cross country here in the night. I bet I've gone 2 miles from the truck. He's crossed these clear cuts. There's some huge clear cuts here. And he's running right steady across, but track's starting to look a little fresher. There's starting to be a little snow kicked up in front. When I first got going, it was melted pretty round, but we'll keep going on it. And got to say, I think it's the first time I ever remember working up a sweat in Ontario in early December. But I just got my Beagle jacket on with a long john top. Thought I was dressed light enough, but it's pretty warm walking. Keep rolling here. Hey, a crazy thing just happened. The last time I talked to you here, said it was just starting to freshen up. I don't think I went 100 yards or so. Come up on a knob and I thought I heard a thumping like a deer jumping, and I looked down, there was a fresh walking track around. And I heard a crick crack up there, took a few steps, I heard a crick crack and I see him jump. And he went out of sight, so I ran back. I knew there was a skid road, and I ran back, and I could see him crossing through the cut and some brush way out. I had one chance, way off. It looked like it was, well over 100 yards. He crossed an open in one jump, and I fired. Thought I heard a bunch of crashing after that down in the cut, but wasn't sure if I hit him. I was going to be lucky if I did at that distance. But I did. I just come down and he switched back. There was no blood. I've come about 100 yards on it. There was no blood. And now I got a little blood leak in here, so I got to see what's happened. And looked like a big deer. I could see his rack. Don't know what it's got, but keep going. Couldn't believe I caught up to him that quick all of a sudden. He never fed or anything, so let's go see what happened. Here's the blood right here. Got him. Coming down through this cut here, and I could see where he's skidded right here. And I look over and he's piled up just over there. That's where he skidded down through his last jump there. Well, got it done. Beautiful 10-point Ontario buck here in 2012. I'm a little disappointed I didn't get it on film. I was going to put my GoPro on when I got a little closer, but things happen so quick, so I didn't get it on film anyways. And but he's a beauty. It's kind of funny how things happen sometimes. You get on a track and you don't know what your day is going to be like. That's what's the fun part about tracking. Every day is a different story. You try to think about what that buck's doing, where he's going, how you might outsmart him. But that's what makes it a challenge. That's what makes it fun. Yesterday, I struggled. Yesterday it was a little bit noisy going, real calm. The buck was in some real thick slash in the woods and lot of whips and stuff, and he didn't go anywhere. When I picked that one up, he must have been tired and he was going to spend the day feeding in one little area, and that's what he did, but it's just so noisy in there. So today's another day. I get on a buck, and this buck's a traveler. He's come right cross country from, way over. I don't know how far. Well, like I said, I've probably gone 2 miles from the truck. And I didn't know how far he was going. It was kind of strange. He was one of them ones that there was no indication he was going to be there. And he went all the way across. He was on a little knob, kind of a thick knob out in this backside of these old grown-up clear cuts here, and I just happened to hear that thump thump like it jumped. Sometimes people don't pick up on that, they expect to see something and hear it crashing, but got to tune your ears into things, it's a telltale sound. When a deer gets up and goes, you hear the foots thumping. But today was a quieter day. It was the snow had melted in the night. It wasn't crusty, and it was quiet going. A little bit of wind rustling around in the trees here, and so don't get discouraged if things don't happen one day. Just keep going and let it happen. Enjoy the hunt. Let the buck tell you his story, and who knows, you might catch him at the end of that track. I might have lucked out on getting this one out. I come down right where he ended up dropping. There's a pile of pulpwood here. An old road coming into it. Well, it's not an old road. It's like a bulldozed road. I'm going to see if maybe I can get my truck right to here, and I'll luck out and I won't have a big drag. If I don't, I got a big drag, I think. Anyways, I'll get it done. I got all day now. I think that whole hunt was maybe, let me look at my watch here. It's 9:30. I think I got on this track at 8 o'clock. So an hour and a half hunt. That makes up for all the days I go daylight till dark and end up empty. Sometimes it just swings you away. Well, we'll see if we can get the truck here anyway. Well, my season's over up here in Ontario, and my second day of hunting, and just got lucky, had the right conditions today, and picked up the right track in the right place, and went on that cross-country mission with this guy, a couple of miles, and he just got to a place he wanted to be, laid down. I guess he got up and was dubbing around again, laid back down, and I heard him get up and go. He ran down over the hill, and I saw him jump through an opening. Saw it was a good buck, and then I had to run back on a skid road. I ran back 20-30 yards where I could look down a skid road, and he come out. I could see him jump across an opening way out. I don't know, it's over 100, 125 yards, something like that. Had one chance. I just got swinging and touched it off, and I didn't know whether I did any good or not. But anyways, I did good. I hit him, and he probably went down, I don't know, probably 150 yards he went. I hit him a little far back, but the old 7600 carbine comes through again for me. And tracking, I think it's the best gun you can use for tracking. A short, light gun, easy to carry, and got the Williams peep sight on it. Take the aperture right out. I paint my bead orange, and all I got to do is throw that bead on there and ready to rock and roll. But this is just a perfectly shaped 10-pointer, and I don't think it's an old deer. He had a good foot. That's what I took him. Good track. And when you're tracking, you got to just accept what they got for horns. I mean, it's a good rack, but it's not as big as some of the ones in Ontario here. But he had a good big foot for up here, so get committed when he went. I'd try to get it into him. So my old 180 grain Remington core locks did the job again. I think it's the best hunting bullet made, but maybe I'm just prejudiced about that. I've used them pretty much all my life deer hunting, and killed a few deer with them. He's a beauty. Well, the day's getting luckier all the time. I walked out that winter road there by the log piles. It's not too far out, maybe less than a half a mile. And I was seeing if I could get my truck in there. I was thinking about it. And I get out to the main road here, and I didn't know it was the main road. And a young fella come by it. I saw this morning. He passed me when I first got on the track. He was driving in. He was coming out and offered to give me a hand with his four-wheeler. So pretty lucky. I'm even getting a ride back to my truck. Life is good. Well, I got the buck loaded, and I decided to take a walk back up there and kind of recreate what happened. It happened kind of fast. And just before I shot, when I heard the buck go, I had just seen a fresher track, pretty fresh crossing the buck I was on. And I got looking this buck over, and it's not a real big body buck, maybe just about 200. And I looked at the feet on him and I said, I don't think that's the buck I shot. I mean, the buck I was tracking. So I went back up in and followed it back, and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm reasonably sure this buck's not the one I was tracking, because I went back up on top and I see where this other buck was. It wasn't even bedded. It was kind of feeding its way up over. I bumped into it head on, I guess, was when I heard it. But I have since followed the other buck. I got on the buck I was on this morning. He's come back out the road to the road, crossing like another road here, the main road. But the snow is really taking a beating here today. It's, like I said, it's 38, 39 degrees, and there's a lot of patchy snow, so I'm not conclusive about it, but it just, the one I was tracking seemed to have a bigger foot and a better stride and stuff. So anyways, reasonably sure this old guy shot here was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So anyway, that's the story. You never know what happens on a track. Got anything you want to say to the boys at the office?
Nope.
What's the temperature this morning?
14 below.
You got snotsicles. That's what it's all about, huh? Buck hunting.
Yep.
On the track.
Yep.
I think everybody should do this.
Yep. Yeah, just need some wind.
Yeah, a little
14
wind.
below and some wind would help us, actually.
Yeah.
All right, here you go.
Sorry? Do you want your peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah.
That's the story.
What's the story? What are we doing here now?
Eat your peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Fire's a man's best friend, ain't it? Nice snowy day to chase a buck.
How many times we jumped him today?
3, 4.
Something like that.
How many times yesterday? 8.
What's the definition of insanity? All right, we got to eat up and get after them.
It's warmed up today. 6 below.
6 below?
Feels colder though. It's like we're getting colder since we started.
Little wind to go with it.
Yeah.
Snow. Perfect.
Probably about 8 below now.